Oh, I better hurry up with my schedule so I can respect people's timelines, even though they would say, well, no, don't worry about it if you pass that deadline. No, I want to respect your rules. I ask, you answer. I want to respect it. It's earlier than usual, but that particular rule. But anyways, at the end of the shower, that is expensive, but it is amazing quantity of hot water that I feel guilty about, but I use it to shave, for example, my head did a great job. And but it was smelling like pot a little bit, like marijuana, and it was probably a staff that wasn't totally outside or was coming in from the, I don't know. So this is when I'm wet at the end. I don't want it to stick to my body. And you know what? They probably expect, you know, a stranger to use a shower to be super dirty, and it's always cleaner. The toilet I didn't use, but it's dirty. The toilet seat's dirty. Shower is not too bad. They focus on that, I think, when they clean. But I clean up after myself in the shower like I did in campgrounds where, you know, I'd like to help to lower the cost and know that it's all greed. So I'm going to leave a place here they would like me to stay longer. But if I stay longer, eventually they'll ask me to leave because I won't have any more money. They don't get that. People don't get an educated person runs out of money. Well, you know why? I don't know if you guys figured this out yet, but BC is like a modern version of the Wild Wild West, you know. A lot of criminal gangs, talking about, you know, the employed often, especially public servants, qualify in a modern way now. And for example, you know, if I don't leave soon here, even though I can pay a few more days, is, you know, my battery, which I charged yesterday using their electricity, didn't keep its charge at all. So I gotta get to where there's a Canadian Tire and maybe replace it for free. And if they don't replace it for free, ask again the Ministry of Poverty Creation. They closed my last ticket without even answering, which mentions, hey, I'm going to go look for work and I might have a job offer soon, so open a ticket. They just closed it right away, didn't answer. And sometimes when they refuse things for my motorhome, they say it wasn't equipped with it before. Well, yeah, it was equipped with batteries before, and the secondary one is a deep cycle motorhome battery, so it's kind of, you know, you don't give a damn, right? And So, I mean, in a lot of ways, there's evidence that there's conspiracies, but I don't want to go there. Although I do believe there's conspiracies, including against me. It's because the higher explanation is HSD, because that incorporates conspiracies within social structures. So they're keeping me so poor because they already know the ministry that I'm taking a health authority to court, and they don't want to be taken to court because they know I mention names now because they've lost their anonymity as workers or public servants or politicians because they didn't do the right thing when they had a chance. So no more Mr. Nice Guy. So they're keeping me so poor, and I believe they have authorities helping them. But anyways, I'm not going to go there. I'm not certain. But even though it's not about me, right? I'm not self-centered where I'd focus on conspiracies. I'm a culture repair where I'm focusing on cultural repair and my theory, which explains why conspiracies form against people that are good people. So yeah, so I'm going to leave, and I sent an email to a school on the way because I don't want to do too much of a trip with the weather, and say I'd like to volunteer because it says on the website they love volunteers. So I sent them my criminal record check. I said I have this diploma, which is your basic minimum, although I'm more trained and more educated than, you know, the DECE, but I have the minimum responsible adult. And, you know, I'm worried about my battery to go more to the north where they don't require somebody such as myself as a 3 post-secondary degrees, that one of them is in education, you know. So I don't know about them. I'm not sure, I don't think. But, you know, it's not very clear to find that information. It's almost like it's being decided here and there. I did find a school district that doesn't use Make a Future, which is great. It just says that, you know, they will list our employment there, but, you know, you apply directly through us at this email, which is great. I mean, maybe they're starting to realize what I've been saying for years, that there are very bad risks to BC and Canada to be using Make a Future. Just like I've said about other sites that sometimes start in our nations, but most of the time they don't. They're just the cheaper bids, and they're dysfunctional, and they don't fix things when you report it. Because again, it's a lot of the same issues from years and years ago where I did contact Make a Future, like the Ministry of Education in BC or the school districts tell me, and they don't fix things that are still happening with the website that are just dysfunctional, right? But it's not like they really want to know you and they look at all the documents, you know. They just, I got a hole to fill in this position, And I'll make this person feel they're lucky to get the job, although they're more qualified than the principals and the teachers. And I did mention a life skills coach, certified life skills coach. Although I don't know how people use the word certified. Like I got a certificate, you know, I got like a reference from the teacher who asked me to replace her. And I quote, it's from the Saskatchewan New Start model. And I also... and by the way, that's not just for kids. It should be actually more for the teachers, retraining teachers, because it's people skills, which are required for, you know, collective learning, for example, which is required for education. So anyways, I'm gonna see what they answer, and if they don't, maybe I'll find a church in that other community. If when I come visit that school I emailed this morning, they say, yeah, we're not really interested, we don't need anything, which is ridiculous, because the learners do need somebody like me that has care and concern for them and that will promote and engage them in the development that they require at a psychological level. But unfortunately, the insecurities of the adults blocks this, and it's common. I can show you some of the recent responses I got, like from a principal who said, we will not be pursuing with. It's like, dude, I'm not even applying for anything specific, really. Here's the email I sent, so I could read you this email, introducing myself, and then that's the generic response, which I think he copied and pasted somewhere else to just say this. Like, I don't even know if the person looked at the resume or anything. And sometimes it's just, you know, the criminality of unions is to advertise things publicly when the public that spends time on it has no chance of getting it because there's things going on behind the scenes, right? So this kind of toxicity is in mental health, it's in medical system, the education system. All these things devolve cultures. And it's too hard to work against that right now during the Anthropocene, so culture repairs can't even volunteer, but we'll see what happens. I keep trying. I'm not trying for me, I'm trying for you. And you still don't get that.